Hey, Mega Mom.
It's Jessica, Randy, and Stephanie.
And we are Real Estate Mega Mom.
We are top producing agents, coaches, business owners,
and busy mamas leading a community of hardworking real estate agents
who are learning to master faith, family, and real estate.
Our podcast is dedicated to sharing the real and raw stories of raising families,
growing and scaling real estate businesses, all while living a Jesus-centered life.
Most importantly, we want to help mamas just like you build a business and life they love.
And prove that success can be achieved without sacrificing balance. So join in as we talk all things mom life and real estate. Hey, Mega Mom, and prove that success can.
Okay, I'm gonna make it so easy. Okay, so everybody knows about Cirque du Soleil, right?
Right.
So like I'm Cirque du Soleil minus the Cirque. So it's Stacy Soleil.
Soleil. I love it. Soleil. Okay. And so Stacy is with Follow Up Boss, and I see you're wearing our t-shirt, our Abundance Conference t-shirt. I love it. So Stacy was one of our amazing sponsors at our last Abundance Conference in Kansas City. And we got the privilege to meet and hang out with Stacy. I mean, till the wee hours of the morning. We had lots of fun. We got to know Stacy really well. And we just wanted to take this time to introduce Follow Up Boss to our listeners. Randy and I both use Follow Up Boss, and it has really changed our businesses. So we decided to kind of switch it up a little bit. Stacy, definitely introduce yourself, but then Stacy is going to ask us questions about our experience with Follow Up Boss.
Yeah. So this is how awesome these two are. They understand that their audience wants value. So me pitching is really no fun, but you hearing how these amazing mega moms are using a tool to power their business, that sounds way more impactful. So thank you for letting me turn the tables. I love it.
It's unusual for us to be interviewed. So I'm excited.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So again, my name is Stacy Soleil. My title at Follow Up Boss is I'm head of community and industry relations. So at Follow Up Boss, we have a massive community of users, all types of users, from independent solo agents to small teams to growing teams to big, huge mega teams. And so we have this massive community. And so I'm in charge of making sure that I connect the dots for that community. We have an online community, as well as you'll see me at pretty much all the events. When I was at your event in Kansas City. And just so the listeners know, the wee hours of the morning, that was a pajama party where there was lots of water. For reals.
I mean,
that is very true. It was a pajama party.
I showed up in the pajamas. I was like, were they serious? This is really a pajama party. I'm like, okay, here I go. Sponsor in pajamas. It was so much fun. I was telling someone that, I go to a lot of events, and I had so much fun just hanging out with other women and just decompressing after you learn so much, and then sharing stories and testimonies. It was really great. So you guys put on an amazing event. So I look forward for us to continue to partner with you for sure.
Yes.
But
Florida is our next event in Orlando. So we can't wait to see you there in March of 2023.
Can you believe that feels so far away, but yet right around the corner?
Yes.
Wild. Okay, so let's play Turn the Tables. What I was thinking is, for those of you listening, so Follow Up Boss is a real estate CRM, and I know you have a ton of CRM choices to choose from. And let me just take one step back really quick. CRM, because some of you listening might be new to the business, or maybe you do things a little bit differently. So let's break down what an abbreviation is. So CRM stands for customer relationship management. So what are we talking about? So all of the different email addresses, the addresses, everything you're sending out. Now, some people are using, their spreadsheet to take track of all of this. They might have it all in their Gmail. They might have it all in their Outlook. They might have a Rolodex. Whatever it is you have, that's your golden area. That's where you're managing all of your database. what we are able to do is really make it so that you can power up your database and make it work for you. And that's what I think both of you have figured out is the magic of how to unlock the contacts you've built up over the years. So Randy, I know you and I were talking, and she's like, she's picked me first. Oh no. We're talking about one of your favorite parts about Follow Up Boss was the fact that we had that dialer. And so do you want to talk a little bit about like how that's been a game changer for you?
Yeah. So for me, I think one of the biggest things is, I'm always on the go. And I have a million things happening at any given time. And so for me, I have a lot of disconnect in my business, and a lot of it is my own fault, but I take a conversation, on the whim running into somewhere, especially a new conversation, a new lead, somebody looking to buy or sell. And, I'm saying, okay, here's our next steps, and I'm outlining those, but it's really hard for me because I don't remember them because I'm taking them, right? Whether it's like heading to a football practice or whatever it is, I'm taking the information in as it comes. And so what was happening for me is I didn't have a reference point, or I had thousands and thousands of these little stickies everywhere in my life. And then I was trying to decipher my own writing, which that's a disaster. Or I was trying to like make sense of the notes, and that wasn't working. And so really where this was a game changer for me is I changed for all of our communication to go inside and out just through the dialer. So I call and it records the call. So that has been massively, then once I'm in my zone and I'm ready to do follow-up, I can play that call, and then I can make sure that I'm not just delivering on my word to my clients, but I'm exceeding it because, now I'm like, okay, this is what I said I'm going to do. And now how I even go above and beyond that. So that, and then the second hand is that, I have staff to support me. And a lot of times I set my own team up for failure because again, the right hand wasn't talking to the left hand. And so now everything is there. So if I'm not available to tell them, hey, here's everything that's going on, they can listen to that. So without a doubt, my number one favorite feature in Follow Up Boss is the fact that I can go back and listen to the calls. And I will tell you, Stacy, as you know, I'm planning my daughter's wedding. And I started calling all the vendors out of Follow Up Boss. And my team was like, why are you calling the vendors? And I'm like, because I need to be able to go back and reference like, okay, no, you said this or you said that. And there's just so much that goes into event planning. And so my safety, even in my daughter's wedding planning, has been to dial out of Follow Up Boss.
Honestly, I mean, it is the smartest thing that I've heard all day, because when you think about it, we have so many things that we are juggling. And I think about it from a lot of different perspectives, like from even a compliance standpoint, right? So when you're dealing with customers, obviously there's all this legality and there's all these, one detail could make or break if something was to go through or push through. So having that documentation really upholds your level of professionalism, and also making sure like, did I actually say what I thought I said? Because we can second guess ourselves. Like you said, you're busy. So I am all for having that documented, digital path or voice recorded path of what's happening. But I love also like what you said. And I think this has been like the number one thing for the teams is you have to be able to delegate, right? And if you're going to delegate, it's like taking the time to let me explain and then re-explain and redocument and re-explain, or let me just go ahead and make that call to my assistant, right? It's recorded. Now it's like, okay, maybe that's my ops person. And now my ops person can go, okay, now I'm going to have the ISAs take care of this. I'm going to have the person in marketing take care of this. So just that true delegation power, just that one tool alone allows those things to happen more seamlessly. So what about you, Jessica?
Sorry, Jess, real quick. I just wanted to add one thing to it too, is something that we're really big in with Mega Moms is, we coach and mentor our agents to train in a scalable way so that they're not they can, build a system that then if the seat changes, they can replace it. And that is also something that is really powerful in those calls, because when I have a really great sales call, or maybe even I overcome really strong objections, I actually go back and play those during my sales meetings. And I let my team hear how we handled them. And also as far as delegation, I can literally go in and put a task in and say to my TC, hey, go ahead and handle, the notice of required repairs according to this phone call. And so I just want to, you really, I just love it because it's keeping me organized, right? But you really touched on some of the high level value adds that it does contribute.
Yeah. It's crazy because, it's not like there's a manual that tells you how to be the most effective leader, how to be the most effective delegator. Sure, there's lots of books on it, right? But how to actually go and do it. Like when you find yourself in growing your business, you're just thrown in the seats of growing your business, right? So anything you can have that'll help you to really just take control and move forward, it always helps. I think you and I talked a little bit about this, Jessica, about, you're one of those people that's, you wear many, many hats and you're going a million miles a minute. So what are some of the ways that you found some solace in having organization through Follow Up Boss?
Well, and so I'm going to reference it from a team leader's perspective as well. But I do want to say, like, if you're listening to this and you don't have a team, I would still consider Follow Up Boss because you can really automate a lot of things within it to help yourself make sure you're staying according to a plan, and where you can almost use the system like an assistant. Right. So because I've created, and thanks to Randy, I've created some action plans for not only my business, but we use it for Mega Moms. We use it for our EXP downline, so like there's a lot of options that you really can customize. And there's a lot of action plans in there that other agents have published. So you have access to like a base level that you can just go in there and edit. Change the wording, change the email. You have email templates, text templates. Like it literally has changed our lives. We're able to just with the click of a button, make sure that our process is the same for every customer. So, and I will say I have used other CRMs that had templates, had automation plans. I think the difference with Follow Up Boss for me, I feel like it's more user-friendly for me, but then also it's a lot more seamless for my team because all of their phone calls, all of their text messages, I require them to use our number in Follow Up Boss so that we can have a complete record for each client. We can see every time we've contacted them, every time we send a text message, every time we send an email. It's all right there at a touch of a button. Really, I can see at my fingertips exactly what's happened with that client.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say I was guilty of not using a CRM. I don't know if I really was very transparent to Randy when we first met back in 2017. I used Facebook as my CRM. Like I was not good. I mean, I wasn't sending mass emails or newsletters like I am now, but I used Facebook to connect with everyone. And let me tell you, that's not scalable. That's just not scalable, right? Yes, I can stay top of mind as long as the algorithm is correct, right? But using a CRM and really leaning into it, I've taken my business into my own hands and my control. And I know I have increased my referrals year after year by leaning into a CRM.
You make a really good point. And I will say this, that, a couple things. I'm going to go a few different directions here. One, I think what you were doing in those early years was you were building your relationship. So using your social media to build your relationships is so smart. And I mean, those of you listening, you probably know this, that some of the best relationships that you've created and made have been through your social sphere. So the only thing that's a challenge, I think you tapped into that.
I was waving at Jessica because we met on social media.
Yes,
yeah.
My sister from Nevada that I met for the first time in 2018. So yeah,
it's so powerful, right? I'm such a fan of social media. I'm so protective over it. I'm like, it's amazing. But that being said, you're right. It is hard. I know at one point Facebook did try to kind of create its own sort of CRM within using the tools, but it was just, I always say it was like a shiitake show because it was just a complete mess and you couldn't really leverage it in a way that would actually scale out. And I think you said something about, when the algorithm works. You know what I learned recently? So I'm actually, I just became an official partner with Meta as a creator. So I've learned a lot. Yeah. And so, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day, but there's a lot of things. So there's not one algorithm. Did you know that there's like a gazillion algorithms? So just when you think you get your flow going, there's another algorithm that they're looking at here and here and here. So if you had to depend on that for your outreach and you were dependent on something that you are not transparently you can't understand because they don't tell you. There's not like a book that's like, hey, this is the algorithm for this. And this is what
it changes.
You do to maintain it.
And I remember like a year or two ago when Facebook went down, like there was a couple of times that it was down for a whole afternoon and we were all like, what's going on? And I was telling Randy, I remember like, this is exactly why we have to have an email list, so that we're not depending on a company like that. So, yeah.
And that's actually a good point that you made, because so one of the other things that I think a lot of different agents, because they'll say, oh, we have like a CRM that kind of comes with our brokerage. So I don't really need to like get one. And so I will tell you this, and that you touched on this point. Whenever something belongs to somebody else, when you put your things in it, where do you think those things go to when you're no longer there? They're proprietary to the person that owns that platform. So a lot of time agents like third-party tools because they own their data.
Yeah.
Like we don't like, like if you break up with a CRM, you break up with a CRM. It's not your brokerage. You know what I'm saying? So you're holding on to your product, your relationship. So to me, that was huge.
I was just talking to a lady that just joined us at EXP, and she's like, yeah, I downloaded everything I needed except for this one thing. And of course, as soon as I gave my notice, they turned everything off and I lost access to my email and to my CRM and my website and all of these things. We actually teach that in our circle. We're big proponents of owning your own systems.
Well, yeah. I mean, you built the relationships, like every single one of you listening, like whether you have 10 relationships, right? Or you have 10,000 relationships, like you've worked really, really hard to establish those relationships. And now it's like, okay, how I'm scaling and staying in front of them. So, having the ability to do so is crucial, but also the ability and the right to manage that so that wherever you go, if you decided to move brokerages, if you decided to, become a florist, like, I don't know, like whatever it is that you do with your journey, that those people should be able to come with you. And so that's important to me. And so that's one of the reasons I always tell people, like, whether you choose us or choose someone else, remember just that your choices are contingent on what's best for your business. So that being said, ladies, I'm curious because you had mentioned, Jessica, I know that, Real Estate Mega Moms, you have a combination. You've got a lot of solo agents, moms that are busy working to help bring, support into the family, or maybe helping to create additional sources of income for family. And some moms are the single source of income for the family. And it's a very different group of people and coming from all different parts of the country. Some are small, some big teams. You've got a mixture. So I just wanted to let those of you listening know that whether your ambitions are big or small, being on top of how you manage your relationships should always be top of mind, because no matter what you do, you want to make sure that you provide the best possible client experience and customer service possible. And I find, at least in my business, from way before working with Follow Up Boss, the one thing that worked more for me to stay on top of my business was organization. Because when I'm chaotic, everything goes chaotic. Like, I might do something well, but then the other things are kind of like, So the more we can be organized, the better we are for our clients. And so to me, and then you're a better mom because you're more organized. And you can plan your daughter's wedding. I mean, hello.
I know. I always tell my team, I want you to win your day because that energy you leave the office with is the energy you walk in your door at home with. And so that's really powerful. But I think that this is important because here's the thing. I was actually just thinking about this because I'm in a season that I'm obviously, I'm juggling a lot right now. And so just yesterday, I ran up to my Airbnb, which is like 2 hours away, and we had to turn it over really fast. And so I had to run up there because it was unexpected. So anyways, I'm raking the front yard in the middle of the woods, which that's interesting in itself. But I'm just thinking, right? Like, what do I really, like, what fills me? What do I need to do? And as you scale a team, it can get it can get a little bit complex and there can be a lot of moving parts. So I was just kind of thinking about, okay, do I want to continue to scale? Do I want to fall back? What do I want to do? And something that was interesting to me is that there was just one thing that stood out, and it's just connection, right? It's just connection. So I love every single thing I do, and I'm not going to walk away from it. You know, Jessica and I both have built businesses that we have VIP groups for our past clients. They get giveaways. We have, 4 events a year. We have, it just goes on and on, all these systems that we have built. And I love that. And it's part of the experience. But I've also noticed a couple of times there's been a handful of people that have slipped through the cracks. And what it all goes back to is connection. And so what I want to point out to everybody listening is whether I was a single agent and my goal was just to, make Disneyland happen for my family, or whether I was that mega agent that was going to continue to scale and even expand into other markets, the connection can happen very simply through the database. And so the power in being able, for me, sometimes I just feel like when I look at my whole business, even though I have an operations manual, sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming. But if I can just sit down right in front of my CRM, and I literally am looking at it right here on this screen, and I can just go to my tasks and I can just follow up with the person, I can touch and make that connection. And connection is the single most important thing, the personal one-on-one connection. I told this to you, Jess, I think, right? I think I told it to you last week or the week before. I had 2 clients that were pretty good advocates of mine, past clients, recently both transact without me. And so, being the person I am today, I immediately reached out and first and foremost was so happy for them and their new chapters. But secondly, just wanted to know what happened and where I could have, where it could have went different. And for both of them, it was not, it wasn't, hey, we don't love you. We do love you. We love you so much that we wanted more connection from you. So even though I was doing all this stuff at a mass level, they just wanted to hear from me. And so when I was like, oh, how can I do that better? It came back to Follow Up Boss. Like, instead of just, it's easy. Facebook reminds us to say happy birthday, and it's easy to just post on people's walls. But I'm going to tell you a secret, and I don't mean it bad. And I'm so thankful for all 1,700 people that post on my Facebook on my birthday. But it's the person that calls me that I remember. Right. And so that was something I loved. And that's what I'm doing now, is making sure I take that information from all these different platforms and put it in Follow Up Boss. And then I allow Follow Up Boss to just help me manage the actual real life connection.
I really love that. And I'm sorry, I realize we're just talking so much and we're running close on your time, but I want to say,
I'm glad you're watching.
I could talk to you guys forever. But I will say this, this was a little secret trick that I do. It's not even in our playbook, but I'll just share it with you. So because I love social media so much, and there is so much value there, but like you said, having that way to be more connected with using your database. So if I'm having conversations on social media, oftentimes there's nuances, right? There's little things we learn about people through social media. So I work with 2 screens. So I'll have one screen open with my social media and then my other screen, my database, and I go take notes about what I'll take a quick peek at someone's social media and I'll be like, oh, they love the Dodgers, or, oh, they go to church here. And then I go and I take notes on those. And then I make those notes become tags. Why? Because of Smart Lists, where you can filter and see things. So now if there's, let's say, it's baseball season and like
those Dodger tickets.
Yes. And now I can be like, I'm going to filter by people that are baseball fans. And then I'm going to filter by people that are Dodgers fans, right? You know what I mean? So there's just these really fun technical ways to be more personal. So I love the thought of taking technology to make your touches a lot more personalized, which seems like strange that you're using technology to be more personal, but that's actually what it empowers you to do. So I will say this because I want to respect the time, but I will say that if you are listening and you're interested, I do have a referral link that we used when I came out to the event, and I was able to get this to extend out. So if you're interested, I will send that link over. And if you guys want to include that in your podcast notes, I'll make sure that you have that. Yeah. So that way, if you're listening and you want to give this CRM a go and you just don't want to feel obligated to spend, this will give you an opportunity to use it without putting a credit card in, and just go in and just play with it and see what you think. And if you got questions, you got 2 mega moms right here that just know what's up. So
awesome. Thank you so much for that. And then also we are going to be scheduling a webinar. And so, yeah, we'll talk about the details of that, but everyone that's listening, you can look for the details in the the notes.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna bring one of our expert success managers into the conversation, and she's literally going to show you how she trains our success teams to level up. So you can have a really nice inside look as to how to, level up your business. So if you wanted to have the free, link to go in and give it a go, and then join the webinar so you can learn how to do it, that might be really good.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Stacey. Thank you for being with us and for being one of the best parts of Follow Up Boss. We appreciate you, and and we're excited to feature this for you ladies. We know, anything we can do to help you systemize and automate your business, that's what we're here for, because we want you to work smarter, not harder, right? Work less hours and make more money. That's what we're all about. Yeah. So, all right. Well,
thanks, ladies.
I appreciate you all so much. And just if you haven't done it yet, sign up for the next event because they're amazing. Truly.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Another great show, ladies.
Thanks so much for listening.
Make sure you subscribe to our podcast so that you can catch our future episodes.
And we want to invite you to connect with our community of over 20,000 rockstar mamas on our Real Estate Mega Moms Facebook group,
where we share ideas, talk industry trends, and answer questions.
You can also follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can find additional business tips and training.
If you're interested in personalized coaching, monthly training, marketing resources, and so much more, don't forget to pop in and check out our inner circle at realestatemegamoms.com. Until next time, ladies. Bye.
Bye, ladies.
Bye, ladies.